I don't remember what word I even said.
Yeah.
But next thing I know, Aaron Rodgers is in my face. Are you kidding me? Blah, he's yelling at me. Devontae Adams is yelling at me like, come on, that was bull.
Welcome to Tales from the Tundra, a weekly show that captures one team's history told through the eyes of the fan. My name is Ben, and on today's episode, I am sitting down with the one and only Matt Ramage. Matt is a die-hard Packers fan who proudly displays his fandom online, racking up over 250,000 followers across all platforms. Today, we're going to talk about how he became a fan, how he became an icon online, my words, not his, and so much more. This is Tales from the Tundra, Episode 1 with Matt Ramage. Enjoy. Living in Wisconsin, it is certainly not uncommon to become a Packers fan. Even more so when you're living in Green Bay. And Matt is the perfect example of that.
I don't remember like a time where I'm like, I'm going to be a Packer fan. It's just like everyone was.
Yeah. And
that's just what you were in my family. We rooted for the Packers. My uncle had a basement, I remember, and it was like painted like all the lines, you know, like the field lines and the touchdown Packers. He had Packers stuff. It was like the first man cave I've ever seen. And I didn't see one for a long time after that. He was like the only one. I'm not sure like all his stuff was great in there, but he had like paintings and
But as a kid, man, anything Packers was gonna just be over the top great.
Yeah, it was his basement was like the basement. It was like the cool thing. Like when he got to go down there, it was cool. I see stuff now, like even your collection, the Drew Cave. Then I'm like, all right, that wasn't that great at the time, but at the time it was though.
But if you think about it, in the 80s, I'm sure it wasn't as easy to obtain items for your collection as it is today. Today I can go on eBay, I can go on like Waukesha Sports. Dude. I can go all these different reputable places to find good memorabilia. Back in the 80s, dude, you had to put in the work. You had to go to autograph signings or, you know.
Yeah, I don't know how they did it because I'm not even sure they had autograph signings like they do today.
Yeah,
because now all of them have them. You know, you pull up at like Anduzzi's on a random Wednesday and like, whoa, is that Alex Green over there? You know, what I mean?
Shout out Alex Green. Yeah,
you know what I mean. I love Alex Green. I love what he's
the
doing.
Dude. Yeah. No, I get you completely because that is a different environment, and I'm surprised, you know, with growing up, and I would assume a really good friend of yours since you live next door. I'm surprised you didn't somewhat like the Bears, because it seems like those young kids are always so impressionable, right? As a young kid, you want to be like your friend, or you want to enjoy the same things your friends do.
He was like the leader of the friend group, you know what I mean? Like he was like the dominant one. He was like the one that beat me in basketball, and like he won at most of the things we were gonna do. But at my house, like if I went home and was like, hey, I'm a Bears fan now, they'd have punched me in the throat. Like there wasn't an option. Like I remember my son, my younger boy, was like rooting for Washington when RG3 was there, right? He liked RG3 and he saw the highlights and all that, and he liked him. And I remember like taking him to basketball practice, and his coach is like, what's going on? Get a hold of this thing. Like, what are your kids walking around in a Washington hat?
Dude, and, you can't have that.
And he was like I failed as a father. He was like, clean it up over there at the Ramage house. I was like, dude, I tried to hide this thing. He snapped. He got all freaked out, and I had to give it back. But you can't choose. I mean, he's a Packer fan now. Like he bounced around as a kid because he basically, as a young, I have to defend this because like as a father, I'm a Packer fan. But he would like players and he'd be like, hey, I'm gonna support that team. But when they were gone, he was like, and he always was. I think he tried to fight it like kind of like your point. He tried to fight it because he wanted to be different.
Yeah,
he didn't want to be a Packer fan because everyone's Packer fan in our house.
I can see that.
Then you see him watching the Packer games and getting excited when like, you know, Jordan Love does some or whoever. So he's definitely a Packer fan. I just want to make that on the record.
But how did the Bears become, like the hatred for the Bears become a thing for you? Because if anyone follows you online, dude, they know you hate the Bears.
Yeah.
More vocal about the Bears, I would say, than any of our NFC divisional rivals. I mean, you hate them all equally.
No, I hate the Bears a little more.
You hate the Lions and Vikings equally, and the Bears just a little bit more.
Yeah, the Lions took a little step up lately.
But, I would agree with you there.
But yeah, but
where did this hatred come
I
from?
think like with the Bears, it might be like if I'm thinking like a therapist right now, right? Is my buddy back in the day, right? He was a Bears fan, And we were so against him, right? All my uncles and stuff. And I thought like the world of my uncles, like back in the day, like I thought my uncles, like they wore cowboy boots, someone rode a motorcycle, you know what I mean? They got in fights in bars. Like they were like the cool
something
guys.
you still couldn't do if you wanted to. You couldn't pull off.
Yeah. I never got to that level. Yeah, I was like, I'm never gonna be that. I remember wearing cowboy boots to school one time, and it was icy outside, and I fell a lot. And then I got to school, and everyone made fun of me because I was wearing cowboy boots. That's not normal.
So is that where your hatred of the Cowboys came from then?
Yeah, it might have been.
Like the cowboy boots memory
Dude,
being repressed.
These boots got me beat up for 4 months.
So your friend next door,
yeah, he was a Bears fan. I think he might have, but like we just grew up hating the Bears. I think.
Well, it was
remember
my
stepdad.
Too. That's probably a big part of it.
I remember my stepdad had a shirt. The Bears still suck. Like the first Bears still suck shirt I ever saw. But it looked like it was like a Bears shirt. You had to look really close for it to say "still suck." Like it didn't like stick out like real. Like my merch. I let people know there ain't no hiding nothing.
Well, back then they had to be respectable.
Yeah, it was like a kind of like a hidden like thing. But I think it was just my family. I blame all of them for. And then when I started making content like for Packer stuff. It was like the first thing I thought of. Like, what can I do? I'll make a Bears still suck video. And like, that's just kind of how I started. And then Bear fan, I actually like Bear fans, dude. I'll be honest. Like, I respect them. Like, I go back and forth with a lot of Bear fans. Yeah. And even if we argue a little bit, like, argue as in social media wise, in comment section, like it ain't like they're always pretty cool.
Yeah.
They ain't never death threatened me. You know what I mean? Can't say that for every NFC North division rival. like I literally, I think I sent you a screenshot of the one dude was like, I forget what he said, but he was like, I'm not impressed with this guy still being alive. Yeah, he wanted me dead.
That's a wild statement, and it was it was. I mean, all over a football game. Never would have thought.
Yeah, and I never talk personal. Like if I'm talking about I don't like your team, go my team. Like I'm never like talking about someone's like personal life. I don't trash players even like to like a big extent. I might laugh like, oh, this guy threw an interception, but I'm not. Dude, I'm not like all hateful. I'm just having fun. I love the Packers. I hate the Bears. Hate the Lions. Hate the Vikings. But like I've never like was like Caleb Williams is trash, and I hope he like this and that bad things happen to him. Like I've never liked that. Like and I always say like even like I even got kind of go the other way where it's like. It's not even the player's fault. It's just the organization is a dumpster fire.
Yeah. Well, you just hate the uniform. You don't hate the people.
Yeah.
You hate the laundry they wear. Before we really dive in, I know we're talking a little bit about your social media here. Matt and I met each other back in originally back in what 2009, 2008?
Yeah. It was like early Twitter.
I think you were the second real person or non-celebrity I followed on Twitter. I follow.
Well, that changed.
Yeah. Now you're just piled into all the other celebrities I follow on Twitter. We did like team tweet all night because you worked overnights and I was a college kid, so I was up all night anyway. And I remember you and I and Clayton, Miss Beltworthy, Peyton, and I think there was a girl like named Brittany that would be on there a lot.
Yeah. Brittany. Big shot.
But yeah, so we all kind of met and got to know each other that way, and then you and I just stayed in touch over the years. And then I remember you started your social media pages. And what gave you this inspiration to start this social media page?
Dude, like I don't even know because like my first social media was like MySpace. Like I was on the first thing.
Dude, just like hammering out code.
I remember being friends with Dane Cook, and I remember like back on MySpace, it was a top 10 friends list, right? Like you might not know.
Top 8, dude. Don't insult me. Don't insult me. It was
top 8, whatever it was. But with my friends, if you were 1, like you were last. 8 was the top because it was about disrespecting your friends.
Okay.
Like I'm not gonna because like this is my friend, my my best friend or whatever. But like I'm not gonna put him at 1, make him feel good about himself. He's gonna go to 8. You know what I mean? So like we kind of flipped it. But MySpace was cool. But like when I first started, like I think Twitter was first, right? And my wife was telling me about it because she was like, "Yeah, there's Twitter or whatever." She was on it first, and then I remember her explaining to me. She's like, "If you talk about if you talk about someone and they're on Twitter, you have to put the @ and teach me the whole thing. And I was like, this is stupid. But like when I first started, and we did that, and we talked or whatever. But when I first started doing like social media content, like on Vine, is like the first time where I was like making content. Because like, when you're on Twitter, I used to say stupidest stuff.
Dude, yeah.
Stuff I was tweeting about.
I deleted my old Twitter account and made sure I purged everything because there's just like,
Yeah.
I mean, I never did anything like that bad.
No,
but you're just
you
like
can't.
tweeting.
Can you run for mayor, Ben? That's what I want to know. Can you run for mayor?
Yeah, no, nothing's. But you know, like you tweet like rap lyrics
cringy,
or like
dude.
song lyrics or
dude.
like. But
yeah,
so,
that's how it all
yeah.
started.
So you start. So you do Twitter. You have a great experience talking to this guy.
Well, you went to Arby's.
Yeah, dude.
I love Arby's.
I was like, man,
this. Yeah, it's weird because my wife talks about it. It's almost like I see you more as like a not like a kid, but like one of my kids' friends.
Yeah, well, that's what your wife.
Because like I've known you for so long, and you were young.
Dude, I was 19 or 20.
Yeah, but you seem young. Even like people see pictures of you back then, you look like a different person. Like
I
different
look like
life
a
form.
little kid. I look like a little kid. So, but then you decide, hey, I'm gonna venture out into this world called Vine. I almost called it Twine. Vine. What made you decide to just try Vine?
Dude, Vine was crazy because like Vine, it was just like an app that popped up. And my wife used to always make jokes like, any social media account, you got to take over it. Because I'd always be like, oh, I had to learn this. And I never really did anything on any social media platforms. But like I'd always try, you know? So when Vine came out, like I downloaded it and I would just make videos and these are 6-second videos. So like, how can you even say anything in 6 seconds, let alone like be funny or whatever you're going to do? So I would make these videos in my car, and people, all the comments I got, like, do you ever not be in your car? Because I didn't have a lot of people follow me, and like, you know, I'd have 5 comments or whatever, 2 comments. And then I had this thing I could do with my eyes, which I do like for fun to mess with people. I could just switch eyes, and I can make my eyes go like, you know, different ways, and I can make one look up, one look down. I can just do different stuff. So I didn't really think like, oh, I should make jokes about it. I think one day I was like, I'll make a video about it. And then it might have got a little bit of, I don't remember like that first time I did an eye video, but I think I did a few of them, but it wasn't like the whole thing. I was just having fun. And there's a lot of people you meet on there, just like, you know, any social media platform, you make friends and like people, whatever. Like how it first started though, like how I got noticed on Vine and how I actually got to meet those people is there was that video. I came home from work. I came home from work like 4 or 5 in the morning, whatever it was. I might have had a few beers or whatever. And then I was thinking of an idea. I was like, I think that's basically when I started doing the eye thing. I might have done a few like before that, but like now where I was like, all right, let's make something good, whatever. So I'm like, I just looked on YouTube, and back then YouTube like was on my TV. We had to like go on the remote, you know what I mean? and type in, and I typed in, what are you looking at? That's all I typed in on YouTube. And then there was just some dude yelling, what the F you looking at? And I was like, oh, that's it. So then I recorded my TV. I recorded my TV on Vine.
Even
like,
better.
What the F you looking at? And then I stop it. I cut it to me. I reverse the camera. And then I cross my eyes. I go, man, I don't even know. That's it.
Dude, gold.
And then I post, boom. And I said, I forgot what I even captioned it. What are you looking at? And then I went to bed, you know, because I work 3rd shift. And like I woke up and there was like, and I looked at my phone. And like Vine is like 100+ notification, which has never happened before. when you get 100+,
that's a big deal.
And I was like, oh, what happened? So I look at it, and then like I'm like looking at the video, and I'm like my brain isn't processing it. It's like there was like 65,000 shares.
Wow.
And that was like shares, and I was like, and then I remember running down the steps to my wife. Oh, look at this! Like everything's gonna change now. We done made it.
Yeah, pack up the bags, pack up the boxes. We're getting a new house.
Ready? Yeah, we moving to the wood, Hollywood, baby.
Well, but at that time, I don't even really think influencers were that big of a thing, or like were really that.
Well, they were just starting. I feel like that, like they were just starting.
Because Vine was like the start of those.
Yeah,
kind of things,
but there were some big time people back in the day. A lot of them ended in scandal. So I don't want to start naming names because a lot of them who I didn't know personally, but like people who I like, well,
you don't want to
the
name
guy.
them, and I can like clickbait them in
Well,
this for some clip.
Yo, I
Be
couldn't
like,
even remember their names.
former
anyway.
Viner shares dark story about Logan Paul. You know,
But there was like a lot of Viners back in the day who were like, famous or whatever. Like they were the top Viners, and then if you
well,
want,
you'd see them in movies afterwards. and
yeah,
stuff
yeah, like
that.
they did it, but a lot of them ended up being just like horrible humans. But then I got to like my guy Vince. I don't know if I should. I don't know if I should say his last name. I don't know if he wants me to. But my buddy Vinny, we started doing Vines together, and he was
Okay,
like really good at editing.
That's the guy I was thinking of that you did a lot of
Yeah.
videos with. Okay.
Yeah, he's from New Jersey, and he was good at editing. He could put it all together, and we started doing a lot of stuff, and like it started popping. Like I think I had like 20,000 followers on Vine or whatever, but then it just kind of got boring. Like Vine was dying, obviously, and like people were like they're about to shut it down, and I just quit it. But then that's when I kind of started talking to you a lot, right? And I wouldn't know if I don't know if it was at the same time. I think I went back to Twitter because I was off Twitter the whole Vine time. Because when I was on Vine, dude, I was on Tunnel Vision. I was like making content. Like, it was stupid content, extremely stupid, like the worst content that's ever been made. But I was having a blast. No, but I was like 6-second videos. A lot of them were like stuff I would be embarrassed if people found it today. People say the internet saves everything. It doesn't. I checked. I cleaned it. I've been trying to. So I shouldn't say that. But we were just having fun. Like it was just like a crazy, like crazy stuff. But then when
was still kind of the wild, wild west, especially social media. Like,
and Vine was like, it was like literally like a spot, like it was hidden.
Yeah.
Right. Like when you did stuff on Vine, you didn't expect people to see it. Like, one of the funniest stories is like, so I'm doing the eye thing, and a lot of it's more like I don't swear on any of my social media. I just haven't, because like when I first started, a lot of kids followed me.
Yep.
And so I just kind of like, I'm just not gonna do that. But early on, before that, I didn't know who was following me. So I was like,
it's a Wild West, man.
I was more risque, as they say. You know what I mean? But I remember that I forgot where I was going with that. But yeah, there was. Oh yeah, so we're leaving a basketball tournament, and I got my kids, and are getting in the SUV, loading them up. Get on in, get your basketball bag in that thing. And then one of the kids on his team, the coach's son, comes up. He goes, "Hey, Mr. Ramage, is this you?" And then he just shows me a picture on a phone, and it's a screenshot of that video.
No.
And I was like, "Nope, that's not me." And I just shut my door and I drove off on this kid. And then so like I'm driving, which I don't condone, but I got my phone out and I'm like deactivating my account because I'm like they're gonna find me. And and I was so
rid of all of it.
At that time, I was so worried about like that people would see it, and like it would embarrass my kids, and it would like embarrass my family. And like, I mean, it wasn't like anything horrible. I'm not acting like I was just doing like stupid jokes, having fun,
Yeah.
But I was not proud of it at all. not one bit. But eventually, like I brought it back, and then I just started. I met you then. I kind of did the same thing on Instagram, but I just switched it Packers wise, while still sprinkling in like those eye jokes because those are fun to do every now and again.
When we come back in just a moment, Matt shares his decision to start a meme page and what transpires because of that.
1, 2, 3.
Hey, you know anything about this guy?
I know he likes billboards. This is the 342nd one we've put up this year.
Oh, I've heard he's actually a decent lawyer.
I'm sure he is.
I always wanted to do that. Hey, I'll help you clean up. Sorry about that.
Sure.
You guys have been doing a great job. I appreciate that.
Thanks, Russell.
Nice beard, though.
Oh, thanks.
But
so when you were first starting your page, though, you originally started as like a meme account.
Yeah.
Is it because you wanted more of that anonymity that comes with it, or were you just like, hey, I want to make these memes and just like poke fun at people, but don't want to put myself out there? Because it is really scary when you're starting a social media page to put yourself out there. I didn't show my face for, I don't know, the first like few months anyway. I was just posting stuff.
I don't know why, dude. You got a good mug.
Well, I appreciate that. But it is scary to put yourself out there though, right? Like you're like, oh my God, someone I know is going to see this stuff. And like, you feel weird about it, at least to start, because you don't want to be like, am I making stuff that's corny? Am I like, am I going to make this page and it's going to have 3 people like it and I'm going to be just talking to myself? There's a lot of like self doubt that you have in those moments. So is that why you decided to starting out? Is that why you decided to just do a Packers meme account where you didn't show your face and just do memes, or what was your thought on that?
No, it wasn't it at all. I it was very simple. Like my son was doing the graphic design, right?
Okay.
Like, like the you see on Instagram, like there's thousands of them.
Yep.
Where they take pictures of the players, they report news, they make them look, they put cool colors, cool shadows on them. My son was doing that. And I was like, that's cool. And kind of like a way to bond with him. I was like, I'll make a meme page. Or he kind of just gave me the idea. Obviously, I'm not going to be a graphic designer.
I don't know, man.
Like,
you've done some good stuff. I like the designs you do.
People, anyone who's seen my thumbnails before I figured out these apps know how good I am at graphic design. Now it's easy, you know what I mean? As far as that goes. But so I was like, I'll make a meme page. And then I made a meme page, and it started doing good because turns out it's pretty easy to make a meme, right?
Yeah.
The Packers win a game, you can make a meme for it, make fun of the other team. They lose a game, you make like an angry meme. Like I was just making memes. I mean, and some of them like were pretty good. Chris Farley falling down a hill, 2016.
Yep.
I'll get to that. But anyway, so I started making these memes, right? Because that's actually a good story right there. But I started making these memes, and the page actually got good. But it wasn't doing anything on Facebook. It was just Instagram. Where I had like 30,000 followers on Instagram.
So were you just like scheduling it to post on both and not checking Facebook, or were
yeah,
you, like,
it would just directly go to Facebook from Instagram.
Okay.
And whenever I looked at Facebook, Facebook was nothing. It was like, so I never really looked at the page, right? So then one time I posted this video. It was 2016. The Packers had a bad season. I think Aaron Rodgers got hurt that year. It was a horrible year. I posted a meme of Chris Farley, Black Sheep, falling down the hill. You know how he does in the movie, falls on the hill. And I posted the whole meme and it said, "Oh, Packers season," and it was like week 1. I think I said week 3. Like kind of people. I'm not sure if I wrote that in the meme because I don't think I was good enough back then. But all the comments were like, "Yeah, that was week 8 when he was hanging onto that branch." And then, but that video did really big on Instagram. And then like a while later, I checked Facebook and I realized, that like I have a bunch of followers. I think I had like 50,000 followers or 50,000 followers on Facebook. And I was like, what's going on? So then I went back and looked, and I was like, that video is kind of what launched it, but I didn't realize it's like way later.
Wow.
And then that's when I started like engaging, like, I have to engage. I have a whole bunch of followers over here on Facebook. But I did a meme thing for a long time. But then like I started talking to you, and like I was kind of bored with the meme thing. Like I'm not gonna make memes forever. Like, I'm kind of like I do something for a while. I get bored with it. Like I'm like I don't want to be.
I remember you and I were talking after I started my page, and you said you saw how people interacted with me as a person.
Yeah.
And with you, they interacted with you as a meme page. They just tagged friends. They didn't really like interact with you. They were just like taking a friend and moving on.
Oh, it wasn't like a personal when connection. You're who talks to a meme page?
Right, exactly. I remember one meme. I would assume it's yours. I think it's yours. Maybe you weren't the original one that did it, but I remember it being everywhere like wildfire. And it was he went to Jared.
Dude, he went to Jared. I'll tell you this right now for a fact. I'm the first person to make he went to Jared meme.
Because dude, that
I made it because like the play
everywhere.
The play just happened, and that time in my life, right? I was in total meme mode. Yeah. Like I had a thing where I wouldn't make memes till after the game because I made some memes like, they're gonna win this game. Yep. I got to get this meme ready, so I want to post this meme. And I remember at that time, it was 10 minutes to get 100 likes. If it didn't get 100 likes in 10 minutes, it was trash. I don't do that today on Instagram. But back then, I remember thinking that that's how I knew that it would be a good meme. But if you post right after a Packer game, a good solid meme, like people love that stuff. But when that play happened, though, it just popped in my head. He went to Jared. I promise you, I did not steal it. I posted that thing first. It went everywhere. I've had a few memes that I made first, like the meme for the Vikings. The Vikings hate the Packer fans. The Vikings hate the Packers so much they refuse to win a Lombardi Trophy.
Dude, I just saw someone post that on Reddit today.
Yeah, I'm the first one, and you can go back on my Facebook and even check it. I posted it. It wasn't even a meme. It was the laughing emojis. Like, you know, when you make a Facebook status,
What are you?
right?
What are you? 74 years old?
Yeah, no, but like when you make a Facebook status, you can pick to have like instead of having just the words, having a background, right? I don't know if you can do that on Android, but we can do that everywhere else in the world. No, but like you can have like a background with laughing emojis or like balloons or like plain colors or whatever. Like you could pick that. And then I made this like, you know, I just had this thought. I was like, Vikings hate the Packers so much they refused to win a Lombardi trophy. And instead of like I didn't make it a meme, so I was like, I'll just do a background to laughing emojis. And I posted it and it like went big and you know, I think I screenshot it on Instagram, I put it in different places. And like 2 weeks later, I see like people like posting it like as a meme, like Vikings holding up whatever, like just different pictures with my words. I was like, I made that. I wasn't even mad though. I was like, dude, I don't care because I know I made it.
But that he went to Jared one. I think you watermarked because I still see it posted with your original Packers meme watermark.
Yeah,
and other Packer memes are trying to like take that as like their content.
I've noticed that there's other Packer memes pages that popped up that will post a lot of my old memes that are kind of still relevant. Like all the Bears trashing memes are still relevant because they still suck. You know what I mean? They still are doing the same thing they were doing in 2015. I have seen that they'll like try to like, but I don't even care. Actually, I take it as like pride. Like when I see a meme, even if I don't know for sure, I'm like, I'm pretty sure I made that first. I'm like, all right, let me put that one in the chest. You know what I mean?
Dude. You gotta be hyped about that. So then you make this decision. I remember you and I having this conversation multiple times.
You pushed me. You were very pushy.
Dude, but I was also like,
I'm just kidding.
Hey, well, I probably was like, you should do it, but also at the same time, I was like, hey man, that's a big change to make, and that's a scary change because you have this page that's successful by all metrics. And now you're going to completely rebrand it to no longer be just a meme page, but now you're putting a face behind it. And you're saying, I'm just like a human meme, right? I'm just going to like make fun of people now rather than memes. And that's a big rebrand. That's a big thing to do.
Yeah, it was like a big thing to say, because like if you followed like a page, like you're a Packer fan, you follow a Packer meme page. And then when they're like, hey, my name's Johnny. Like, who the fuck is
where'd this guy come from?
Yeah. Dude, I all the comments, but so I didn't change it right away to my name. I changed it to Matt the Packers guy. Because I didn't want to be like, who the hell's Matt Ramage? But then if I say Matt the Packers guy, like, all right, we're still in the same neighborhood. I am a Packer fan. That's why I must follow this page.
Yeah.
But everyone, the thing is on Facebook, when you change the name of a Facebook page, it notifies every single person that follows you.
Yep, it does.
And it says, hey, which not a bad thing in case someone's trying to be crazy and like. So when it said, it said, hey, Packer memes is now Matt the Packers fan. People are like, oh, screw this guy. This guy sucks. I hate him already. I don't even know what he looks like yet, but I know he sucks and he's horrible. And so like on Facebook, on Instagram, I lost like 7,000 followers. I think a lot. It was like 5, 6, 7,000.
Yeah.
And then every time I posted, I would lose more. Because they're like, oh yeah. So for the people who didn't realize it at first, they're like, who's this prick? You know what I mean? Get him out of here.
Well, and I think too, the notification maybe reminds people that they're even following this page. They don't even know they're.
Oh yeah. And I've done it before. Yeah. Where like it'll be like, like if you follow like any like kind of weird page and they change the name by like a letter, like, oh, it used to be Billy's Electronics, now it's Billy the Electrician. Get the hell out of here, Billy. I don't remember following you, and I don't know why I did. Exactly. I think that was back a couple years ago when my dryer broke. But you're out of here, Billy.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So like you kind of like let them know, and I just you just have to keep going though. You have to. I was like, no, I always felt like I kind of had something. Like I don't know if I really thought I had something, but like I just thought like maybe because I sucked at first, especially like when I started the podcast thing. Because that was because of you. Ben's like, you can do it,
dude. Yeah,
you were like that. Remember that video of that real little girl talking to her mom or whoever she is, and she's like, you can, no, I think it's a boy. And he's like, you can do it if you just put your mind to it and work your hardest. Dude, you can be president of the United States. Remember that video?
That's still me. I think what you're really laying the foundation for here is that I should be getting 10% of your earnings for your
I got
podcast.
earnings. No, my wife got like 90, so like you got to share with her. You figured out with her.
I mean, that sounds about right. My wife gets about 90% too.
Yeah.
So that's just like the cost of your manager, and by manager, it's your wife. So you make this transition, and you put a face to the name. You see a downfall in your pages. At what point did you see it just start like the momentum kind of turn the other way? Is it once the kind of people started seeing that the content doesn't change, it's just kind of the format that's changing? Or because at some point you unknowingly created this great brand for yourself, right? You have, people understand like the caricature of you. People know Matt Ramage. You have the Matt Ramage show, which you do for your live shows. You have your MR brand. You're wearing your hat now.
Yeah.
You go to Lambeau Field, people are, holy cow, it's Matt Ramage. Let's get a picture. Let's drink a beer. Like, you've created this like incredible brand for yourself. So at what point did you like notice that tide start to change from people are like leaving in groves to, okay, the momentum's going the other way now?
Like I don't know like exactly what happened, but I do remember like when it started to slow down, because like you get that like that graphic on Instagram, like how many followers you gained and how many followers you lost. And I remember back in the day, like you gained 78 followers, you lost 543. Like, all right, sweet. But I think that it kind of slowed down a little bit. But I think if I remember right, which I might not, because my memory's not good. But it was kind of like when HaHa Clan Dick started like doing videos with me, and we started like doing that. Like I feel like that is when, especially on Instagram, is when
was he the first player that you really? I know you did stuff with Tom Crabtree.
Yeah, Tom Crabtree was the first player I ever talked to on a podcast.
But that went back to the Twitter days of your regular Twitter.
Yeah.
But was HaHa the first like player that you started interacting with solely through your page and like because of your page?
Well, the HaHa video, like HaHa, it's weird to say his name.
What is that? It
sounds like this guy's he's really in a good mood. Yeah. No, but how it first happened is HaHa Clan Dix posted a video on his Instagram story talking to a cleat, right? Mm-hmm. He didn't follow me, didn't know I existed. He was talking to a cleat, and then I saw the video, and I was like trying to brainstorm like that. And I was kind of doing that at the time. I would take video, just add myself to that video, and do the eye thing or whatever. Yeah. So then I was like, oh, this is brilliant. Like he's talking to himself. I'll just grab a cleat and I'll talk back. And then I made a video. I'm like, hey, I'm like trying to talk to him. And then I did the video, and then it was whatever. But then, like, I don't know, a couple days later, my sister texted me and said, hey, did HaHa Clinton Dix follow you on Twitter? And I'm like, why the hell would he do that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why would that be a thing that happens? And then she's like, just check Twitter. So I checked Twitter, and he followed me. And I was like, oh my goodness. And I touched it back. HaHa Clinton Dix followed me on Twitter. She's like, I know. But so it turns out is that, like, I posted that video, and my sister, I think, commented on it or retweeted it. Her computer, her website designer, who is also HaHa Clinton Dick's website designer, saw it through her, however she engaged with it.
Okay.
Saw it, sent it to HaHa. He liked it. He's like, haha, that's funny. Right? So then he followed me on Twitter. He followed me on Instagram. And then I think I don't know if he DM'd me or however it went, but we started talking, and he was like, hey, do that again, but use a Nike cleat.
Okay.
And I'll repost it because
your sister's like a Nike athlete as well, right?
Yeah. They're both Nike athletes.
So she just took all the athletic genes.
Yeah. She got all of them. They were like, let's give all to her. We'll give him, like he's got a little bit, like screw his eye up, and then I'll give her a little bit more athletic genes.
Equal balance.
He gets one good eye. She gets to run 97 miles an hour. That's the. But so you redo it. I redid it, and the second time I don't think it was as good because
it's not
it
as
kind of
authentic.
takes it's not, because like when all my eye videos, like almost every one I've done, I had very little idea what I was going to say before I talk.
Yeah.
And even to the day, if I make one now, I might have a little bit of idea, but I just start talking. Sometimes I do like 6 of them, and it's all different until one one where I think, hey, that's kind of funny or whatever. But so that's what I did. I did it again. Then he reposted it. But he was really cool because he would let me post it first. He would share it. He would comment on it. And like a couple hours later, 4 hours later, then he would post it on his page because you couldn't collab back then on Instagram.
Yep.
So he tried to give me as much attention as he could while he was doing it. He wasn't just doing it. He understood what I was trying to do.
Yeah.
So he was trying to be good and be cool. And like, I want to give this guy as much of my platform as I can because he liked what I did. And then, so we did that for a while. And they ended up getting traded, which, dude, that sucked.
Dude, that's
You know
the
what I mean?
worst when you have that player that you really connect with and they get cut or they get traded.
And we were just talking about meeting up to have some chicken. I believe it was. Remember him asked me like right before the head, do you like chicken wings? I'm like, who doesn't like chicken wings? And if I don't, I learned to like them real quick. And then but he was traded like right at that same time. But so that sucked. And then like so then I was doing that podcast, right? The original podcast. But that original podcast at that time was basically just Tom Crabtree. I think you were on it, but like a few friends. But like I didn't know what I was doing. I sucked. I was horrible. And Crabtree was basically the only guest, but he didn't know it. So I'm like, hey, you want to come on my podcast? Like, yeah, I could probably like next week or week after that. But all right, cool. So like every 3 weeks he'd be on my podcast, thinking I've had like he's like, this guy's killing the game. He's got a lot of guests coming on, and
it's just me and Tom on repeat.
Yeah, it's just like every few weeks because I was horrible. And then I quit because I was like, this sucks. I'm not good at this. And I think at that point I might have had a few other players on where I was just like not prepared and I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, I quit. And then so I quit for like the off season. Like, no, I gotta do it. I think you probably talked to me too, or like, hey, you gotta do it again. You gotta try it again. It's like, I'm gonna try it again. And I talked to Crabtree. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna start this podcast back up. You're gonna be my first guest. He's like, yeah, for sure. I'll be your first guest. And there was a big time frame when I wasn't doing it or whatever. Or not a big, but maybe a year or whatever. And then but then at that same time I was talking to Haha because now I'm doing like the cleat videos and it's kind of doing his thing. And then I was like, I'm gonna start my podcast back up. He's like, oh, I'll be your guest. I'll be your first guest. And I was like, hell yeah. But I was like, nah, I can't do that. So I went to Crabtree. I'm like, because I wouldn't have done it. I was like, no, I said you would be my first guest because I always have loyalty to Crabtree because I don't think it was for Tom Crabtree. I wouldn't even be doing this at all because like that starting, like he was it. You know what I mean? And not even that, like the advice he gave me, even the marketing agent I have today, when I got the contract, I sent it to Crabtree. And like, does this look legit? Because I didn't know who he was. I don't know what I was doing if it was legit. Because there's a lot of scammers who pretend to be.
There's so much that you get pitched when you have any sort of following that it's tough.
Yeah, and like you don't know what's real. That someone's just trying to take advantage or whatever. And he looked at it and he's like, I'm not no contract expert. He's like, but this looks legit of what I've signed before. So I was all right, because I had no money to like go get a lawyer, but like,
no. Well, you didn't have a lawyer sponsor then either.
I know, right? Now I got the hookup with Nick Lealo.
Hey, it's me. Sorry to interrupt once again. I wanted to let you know though that all season long we are going to be doing giveaways from the show, thanks to my friends over at Nick Lealo. To enter is pretty simple. There's going to be a giveaway link that you'll see in the comments below or in the show notes, depending on what platform you're watching. In that form, you will see something that requests the episode of the week's phrase or the word of the week. For this week's episode, the phrase is backed by the beard. So go find that link, enter in your information, and make sure you enter in backed by the beard for the phrase or word of the week.
But yeah, so I started again, but then so I told Crabtree, I was like, yo, how he wants to come on. He's like, well, he's got to be your first guest. And Crabtree was like, no, absolutely, I'll be your second. Let him be, that's huge for you, and go get it, because I didn't want to be like, well, I mean, I got a better guest. No, you know what I mean? And like,
well, you don't want to be that person.
No, but Crabtree, I would say that he's like one of my like if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't be doing this because like he taught me so much. He's like, just drink. I was like, I get nervous sometimes. He's like, you ever thought about getting hammered? I'm like, oh, I never thought about that. And he's like, just do that. That's not an exact quote, but that's how I heard it.
I'm gonna quote it that way. So kids, if you're nervous, just get hammered. Tom Crabtree.
Yeah, but then Haha, like he came to my house to do that podcast, that first episode,
Which
and
which
which is gone now. It's gone now because I actually deleted it one time.
Oh no! I was gonna say, how nervous were you though? Because I feel
Dude,
like
I was so nervous.
I've been to your house. You got a nice house, but I would be nervous. Like I have a pretty nice house, and I feel like I'd be nervous if a player just like was gonna roll up to my house. I mean, my podcast studio area, I'm in my basement. My basement's a mess. If a player's like, hey man, I want to come over and record a podcast with you, I'm like, I don't know that I would be able to do that. Like, not down here.
I moved everything because I was like, I'm in my basement right now, but I was like in a dungeon part of my basement. Like, I'm not gonna have
Your little small office, right?
Dungeon little room. Like, it's like a prison cell. Probably.
Yeah.
I've never been in a prison. I'm trying to keep that rolling. You know what I mean? That's my resolution. But it's not gonna work. So I moved everything upstairs into my living room. Like, my wife was like all like, she's, trying to make everything perfect or whatever. And then we have dogs, and they bark, and I don't want the dogs jumping on them and all that. So we put the dogs in the basement, and my wife came down here because she works from home. So she worked in the basement because she didn't really want to be, in the middle of that. She was just like, have a good time. Yeah, she didn't want to be part of it. And then so we had, but our stairs go up to the basement. They go up to the door, and dogs smell people, strangers.
Well,
they're gonna start barking. So we had like chairs stacked at the bottom of the steps, and we just put like boxes and stuff there, so the dogs couldn't get up the steps to even like bark. If because that's right on the other side of the door, basically. I mean, within a couple of feet is where I was recording. We put a big packer rug on the wall, which wasn't always there. But then I remember just waiting for him, and I was pacing back and forth. He was a little bit late, whatever, a few minutes, and I was just like stressed, like, oh, I'm gonna suck. And the question is, and is my camera working? Because I didn't have good audio, like back then. And then like even when we started recording, I just blue ball, right, mic, and I bought that for like $30 to from someone on Instagram. And the other mic, as I was recording, stopped working.
Oh, geez.
So, because back then we didn't have, StreamYard or whatever social media, place that you record podcasts now so easy. I had that I forget what it's called. You're the one that told me about. Yeah, Audacity.
Yep.
And I had the audacity to think I knew what I was doing with that thing. Right?
Well, dude, and then you bought like that was it a mix thing or whatever? You had the like whole.
I didn't have it then though. I didn't have anything then. I had a laptop, a camera, right?
Just
it was just a flip cam. The flip cam we bought in like 2002, from Walmart after we got our taxes back one year. And then but then I'm looking at Audacity, and the audio is not picking up for the mic that's in front of him. There's only one mic picking up. It's a blue ball. But the blue ball, luckily, is like a ball with what, that's why they call it that. Yep. So it kind of picks up the surround sound, right? So then you can see in the video where I just start moving the mic closer to him. And the whole time he's got a McDonald's cup, and he's banging the McDonald's cup.
Oh, geez.
Because he's just like hanging out. He's like, hey, what's up? As he's talking. And I'm looking at this McDonald's cup, and I'm like, is that screwed up my audio? Is anyone hearing anything? And I'm like, all these thoughts are in my head. And it was good, though. I still have the video version with the bad audio, but like the actual audio was like deleted off my podcast because
that's unfortunate.
One night I was drinking, and then I uploaded a podcast.
Dang it, Tom,
that was back. I know, right? Crabtree right there. But one night I used to put everything on SoundCloud, so I uploaded a podcast on SoundCloud, and I was like, oh, I forgot to edit it. Whatever the reason was, I got to delete this. And then for some reason it scrolled all the way to the top, to the very top podcast, and I didn't realize, and I deleted the first podcast of the last. But and I think everyone who wanted to hear it heard it. It's still on video on YouTube. I think I have the whole thing. Otherwise, I have it on my phone. But yeah, he was super cool because I told him, I was like, you don't got to come to my house. Like, you can. I'll come meet you somewhere because he was in Green Bay after he got traded after that season, right? So he was coming to Green Bay to clean up his apartment and all his situations that he had in Green Bay, whatever personal things he had to do. Then he was going to Milwaukee to, catch his flight and like get out of here. So he came all the way, because I don't live in Green Bay. I live north of Green Bay. So he came way north not way north, but a bit north,
Yeah.
and then went all the way back to Green Bay, and then all the way to Milwaukee. You know how you get to Milwaukee. So like he went out of his way, and he was like super cool. As soon as we started it, because I was super nervous, like I was calmed down like pretty quick, because he was just like, even before we started recording, we went live on Instagram, on my Instagram, and he was like holding my phone and like, yeah, I'll let him know. Big time in it, hanging out with
But I think
but the whole town though knew he was here. So I live in a small town.
That's wild.
A lot of people don't know. Like I don't know if I'll say the name of the town, but
Yeah,
like 4,000 people in the town north of Green Bay. And I remember like it was at the kid's school, my kid's school. They're like, yo, Clint Dix is over here. And like the teachers who I know, like from like, you know, the parents, they're the parents of like my son's friends and teammates on all the basketball and baseball stuff. They were like, yo, Clint Dix at your house? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, I didn't know. And everyone's like had so many questions. Like, why? I've talked Packers with you. You don't know that much.
Yeah, but I think that's a really, I don't know if the word's inspirational, but I think that's I mean, look, you put yourself out there in a situation that was very uncomfortable, that you weren't an expert in by any means, and you had this incredible opportunity. You made the most out of it, and now look at where you're transcended to. Had you not went through the mud of learning in these like quote unquote embarrassing times, or these like times where the quality was not up to the standard that you'd like, you wouldn't be where you're at today with it all. And I think I think that's like a really good thing to like focus on throughout this whole story, is so many people want to do stuff, and like you're showing exactly the path of how it goes. You're not good at things. You just you just work
do
through
it.
Yeah, you just work
like
through it.
like you just do it. Like I remember like recording off my wife's phone would be the video, right? I'd put her phone up and I'm like, oh, this is like put on social media, and like the audio would be over here. When I had a guest on, I put speakerphone on, and I'd have another mic pointing down at it. That's how I did all my like interviews back in the day. And you gave me that idea. And
I was doing that for mine too.
Yeah, so it was just so horrible. But not even that is like I think this is true for a lot of people, but like I don't know for sure. But like I still don't know what I'm doing. And I definitely didn't know it back then. But like and like you suck, right? And like after, like I remember doing podcasts where like I felt so horrible. I paced my basement and just be like, oh, you're such an idiot. Why'd you ask that question? Why weren't you prepared? Like I had Dominic Daphne on, or great interview, right? Good guy. And it was horrible. But like Chris from Passion Pod,
Yeah.
He says that one of the reasons he found me is from that episode, because he was going to have Dominic Daphne on, so he was YouTubing Dominic Daphne. Found that he didn't think it was that horrible, but I was mortified after. But like I think that for everyone, like if you're creating content, or even not in content, but if you're going to do something, like, and you think like you just don't know, just do, right? If you just do it, you'll figure it out at some point. Especially with, it's not serious, like right. We're not like, I'm not over here like trying to like climb a mountain. Like we're just trying to, you know, do podcasts or like whatever video stuff. But I don't know what I'm doing now, and I definitely didn't then. And like I used to get so nervous, like not even with like players, but like I'd have like other podcasters on, right? Like Andy Herman, or you know, guys who I actually know now pretty good, friendly with, who are, I'd be nervous. It didn't matter who it was, and I'd tell them like, I'm so nervous. Like, why are you nervous? And like I don't know what I'm doing, because I don't.
That's a secret. None of us know.
Yeah, nobody knows. But the thing I learned is that if you have fun, the people watching will have fun. And you can't worry about like you can't make stuff for other people. You can't like I'm gonna make this. I'm not gonna make this podcast like this is what people want, because that's kind of the direction I used to steer it all the time. Mm-hmm. You want to go that way, like what do people want? But it has to be about what you want to do, and the right people will find you and enjoy it. Because if you're just trying to please people, then you're out of your realm. Like I remember asking Andy Herman advice way a long time ago, and I was like, I'm gonna start doing podcasts, and you know, obviously he's like the kick of podcast for Packer Wise, and
he pumps that content out.
Yeah, he's like the god of that, and he's like, just don't try to be me. And I was like, no, he didn't mean it that way though. You can't do what I do, bud. No,
No, but I think that's good advice though. In the way
it
he meant
is.
it.
It's like you, that dude's already taken. First of all, you can't try to be someone, especially if like a goofball like me. Don't try to be someone like who knows a lot of stuff, because they actually know it.
Not
But,
only
like,
that, but like everyone is their own. Everyone brings the strength. to the
yeah,
table.
everyone, like, there's like different channels, like just like there's like Andy Herman's gonna give you like all the facts, break it
Yep.
down. He watched the film in 29 different ways, maybe probably more. I don't even know. But like all those guys, like Nagler too, like a lot of the guys who are like really smart with it. But like some people just want to hear some dude drink some beers and like yell about the team in his basement. Like, hey,
people relate to
I
that,
know
though.
more than that guy.
Yeah, right. So you've been doing your page now. I saw the 10-year anniversary for you. You've been doing your page on Facebook anyway, 10 years. You have almost 100,000 followers there. You should be at 100,000 soon, I hope. I know.
I've been close for a long time. I was like, I got bets with people like from 8 years ago, like 100,000 coming.
But so you're close to 100,000 there. You have a significant follow on Instagram, TikTok, if it's still around by the time this episode drops, who knows? You've had a lot of really unique opportunities, whether it's with Preston Smith, we talked about Haha, Aaron Jones, you've had some fun experiences with. Out of all of these things that you've gotten to do because of your social media page, what is the thing that you most enjoyed, or what's the most memorable experience that you've gotten to have because of your social media, like the fun that you bring to people's timelines?
I'm not sure. Like, I think it would be, one of them would be Preston Smith letting me come to like the family practice during training camp. Even though I was like so like weirded out by it, like I didn't really do much, but like that was one thing I will say like about like those times is like I was always so nervous for most of the stuff that I did that I didn't really enjoy the moment, where I'm trying to do
Sure.
that better. I'm trying to be better at that now, especially like 2025. I'm trying to be better at like even going to training camp or going to a game. I get nervous like just like meeting people. Like I just get weirded out. I'm a very awkward individual, but it's not even that.
Yeah,
It's just
fair.
like I don't know. I think I'm a little bit afraid of like just screwing up, but I'm also like, if someone does meet me like at Lambeau Field, I never would want someone to go away like that guy was a dick.
Right.
Like if I didn't hear them right, or if I didn't know, and I'm always just like worried about that stuff. But so like now I'm trying to focus on like having fun with it, enjoying moments, because like let's say like Preston Smith, I got to watch training camp with like the practice with all the moms were there, all the wives, and I wasn't sitting with them. I was trying to diss myself, so they were like, "Who is this weirdo
Yeah,
creeping
just
up
dude,
over here?"
just dude creeping.
But and then like Quick Trip, I got to jump off. We were at that thing in Milwaukee where they built like
the Red Bull thing, right?
yeah, the Red Bull thing, and we jumped into water. Or I jumped into water. Everyone else crashed out. But like that was super fun. Like to meet a lot of content creators who are like really good content creators who are like doing stuff. So that was cool. Like to meet some of those people, and just to jump into water, because like that was like the moment, because like everyone's like, we're jumping into water, because it jumps off like the dock.
Yeah.
And we had the Quick Trip girl on top, and she went with it. So she went in the water, but everyone's like, yeah, we're going in the water. Then that day they're like, yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna go in the water. And I'm like, I was like, I kind of want to jump in the water, because we were the first ones. It's a big show. There's people,
Okay.
Just a bunch of people, like thousands of people. And I was just like you only get this chance once. Like,
Dude, yeah.
jump.
Right.
But I remember the guy, like, he's like, you jumping? I'm like, yeah. He's like, jump right there. And he was like yelling at me to like hurry up and jump. But all I heard was like, if you miss the spot, you'll probably die. So like I jumped in the water, and I'm wearing full jeans and stuff. I wasn't like prepared.
Well, you had an outfit on too, like you had, like,
and a banana suit.
Yeah, that's what it
right.
was.
I had a banana suit on, and then so I jumped in the water. I'm underwater for about 47 minutes, right? I'm like drowning. I'm like, oh. So I finally pop up, and there's a guy with a ski-doo there, and he got like a mat on the back of it, and they're like, grab the mat. So I grab it, and they like pull me to the side. We get up. They're interviewing the Quick Trip girl, right? Because she was the one on top of it. She's the star of the show. But I was just there next to her, and it feels like this. snot's coming out because I just got pulled out of the water, right? And I felt like I was just hideous, but I was like, they never asked me a question, so that was a good thing. But but then I watched the video. I remember watching. I was like, I was underwater for like 3 seconds. It felt like I was dying.
Well,
And I came out of the water. I was like,
well, you
like,
probably
dude,
dropped in deeper than you thought, and you have this banana suit that's like waterboarding you. So
yeah,
I'm sure that doesn't help.
It was but it was awesome. But like that was one of my more fun moments.
Another thing that you got to do that I forgot about too is the Brewers thing. You got to go down the slide.
Yeah. The Brewers. I was a Brewers ambassador one year, and I got to go down the slide. That was pretty cool, but that was weird because like, hey, come on down. You can go down the slide. I was like, all right, cool. So I asked people, like, hey, you want to come with me, whatever? And everyone's like, nah, I'm good. It was like a Tuesday at like 11. I had to be there.
It was a weird
yeah.
time.
So then I was alone, and then I get there, and they're like, hey, this guy's an ambassador. Woo! Because like people can pay to like do it, but they're like, yeah, we don't know you. We're not that impressed. So like, they go down in this like potato bag. I got to meet the brewer guy, and I wanted to make some videos, but like I was so like weirded out because I was alone. I was like,
yeah. Now, when you were starting this out, I can't imagine you had any idea any of this would ever happen. Like,
no, I mean I didn't like, especially like excuse me, like Vine, especially when I first started. Like I remember seeing people who were like popping back then, and they were selling hats, and I was like, what a douchebag. Trying to make money off this, like, what are they, idiots? Like, nobody cares about you, bro. You're not that famous. But then now I'm like, hey, check out my merch shop. Yeah. But
shout out the MattRamage.com.
TheMattRamage.com.
Yeah,
but
TheMattRamage.com.
And but like, no, but like, I never did like thought that it would turn into anything. Like, even like when I was doing like when I started doing videos, like I remember like when I did this one video, it was Devontae Adams. That's when everyone started saying top 2, not 2.
Yeah.
Right. Like when he was like kind of just like first became like that dude. And I crossed my eyes and made this video, and I said, people keep saying Devontae Adams is top 5. And I said, I don't see so well, but I hear he's pretty good. Like it's stupidest video, right?
Yeah.
So I tag him on Instagram. He doesn't comment on it, but he DMs me, because when you tag someone, it kind of DMs them on the side, right? And he responded to the DM like, haha, that's funny. And I remember I was like, oh, Devontae Adams said I'm hilarious. And it was like the greatest.
Spinning what he said. All right, hey man, that's kind of funny. Devontae says I'm the funniest dude he knows.
Yeah, he never met someone as funny as me. He's probably crying right now in laughter still.
I'm gonna get invited to his birthday.
Yeah, but like speaking of like of the cool stuff I got to do that charity softball game, right? Speaking of Devontae Adams,
because that was
he yelled at me.
Was that it wasn't Donald's?
No, it wasn't Donald Drivers. There's another one, Fox 11, kind of the same one that does Inside the Huddle.
Okay, how did that even come to fruition? Did they just like reach out to you and said, "Hey, man, we know you do this bit with bad eyes, so we want you to be an umpire"? Is that like what their approach was?
Yeah, like he hit me up on Instagram, this dude, right? And I forget his name. He still does the stuff. They never asked me again. But he said, hey, you want to come be a celebrity umpire to the charity softball game? And I was like, for real? And I was like, yeah, I'll do that. And I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, yeah, I'll do that. And then I got there, and I was like all nervous, like, hey, put this shirt on. You're whatever. Now you're one of these people. And then he's like, yeah, you don't got to really umpire. Just be out there. You can go live on Instagram. We just want like some promotion.
Yeah.
Show everything. I was like, all right, cool. Cause I don't know nothing about no baseball. And then
I'm with you there.
And then like, Aaron Rodgers out there, like Zadarius Smith, who they just signed. That was the year, right? They signed Zadarius Smith, Amos, and Preston. Zadarius Smith comes up, fist bumps me. He's playing second base. I'm like, oh my God. First of all, his fists are so huge. That dude's like he's not even human. And Josh Jackson, right, is running around the outfield yelling my name, Matt Ramage.
Jeez.
Like, and I was like, which weird because he didn't follow me. So I'm like, yo, hit that follow button every now and again. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then the quarterback of that year, who was the quarterback? The backup.
Was it Boyle?
No, not Boyle.
Brett Hundley? Wait,
no, it wasn't Hundley. I forget the quarterback. Kurt. It started with a K.
Ben Kurt? Ben Kurt?
No, No, it wasn't Ben Carter. It was way before then. That was way back in the day.
Oh, now you're pushing my knowledge. 2019. Who was our backup? DeJean Kaiser.
Yeah,
Is it
Kaiser.
Okay.
It was Kaiser, right? Kaiser's walking by, puts his fist out, fist bumps me, and says, "Hey, bro, love your IG." And I was like, "What?" Because I know Josh Jackson followed me at some point, but he unfollowed me. I know that. I know what a player follows
It's
me
a tough crowd
when they unfollow me, and I get it too. Because like if I talk trash about the Bears, like they don't want to see that. They're
yeah,
whatever.
they're not in that ecosystem anymore.
Yeah, I appreciate the ones that follow me, but I don't. I understand when the ones that don't want to. Like they get done at work and then they hear me yelling about their job.
right,
Even though I'm usually in their favor, I'm not trashing them, but they still don't want to hear about it. But anyways, so when Kaiser was like, "Yeah, I love your IG," I was like, "Oh my goodness!" Like that was like one of the things that blew my mind. But we had a close call come into second base, and I wasn't paying attention, Ben. I wasn't. I was.
Oh, why would
Aaron
you?
Rodgers.
You're supposed to be doing Instagram lives.
Yeah. And I was too. I was taking pictures. I got like 167 pictures that day. And it comes in and every player looks at me. Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers, like everyone looks at me. And I should have took a picture. Because it would have been like a shocked look for all of them.
What's the call, Ref?
What's the call?
Yeah.
So, and I should have, like thinking back, I should have just thought, how does this benefit Aaron Rodgers? And just went with that, kind of like the refs did back in the day. Right? I should have done that, but I didn't do it. I just yelled out a random word, like safe. I don't remember what word I even said.
Yeah.
But next thing I know, Aaron Rodgers is in my face. Are you kidding me, bro? He's yelling at me. Devontae Adams is yelling at me, like, come on, that was bull. BS. And I believe that they were on defense. Oh, yeah, because Devontae Adams was pitching.
Okay.
So, yeah, they were not happy with me at all. But I think about this back and forth because I was like, I should have went the other way. But would I rather have the Darius Smith yelling at me?
That's true.
I don't think so. Because I remember like after that happened, because I was bummed. I was like, oh, and I was like a wounded animal after that. I remember Robert Tunyon DMing me, and he was like, bro, I thought you were going to cry. We were all making fun of you in the dugout. Like we were all laughing at you in the dugout. And I thought about it. I was like, well, if Darius Smith would have yelled at me, I probably would have cried right in the spot. He's a large human, right? But I remember after that, I DM'd Devontae, and I was like, I'm so sorry because I did feel horrible. And he's like, dude, it was all in fun. I was like, oh, I had a blast.
Yeah, I'm sure they're kind of trolling you, but I do hope one of these Tuesdays, Pat McAfee hits Rodgers with the hard hitting question of what was the more controversial call, Matt Ramage's celebrity umpire or the replacement referees of 2012? Because
I think that's
both seem very controversial.
Yeah, they definitely were. I remember like when I left that field, and then people were like, who were watching the game or whatever, they were like, I was like, yeah, I got yelled at by Aaron Rodgers. Like, yeah, we saw that. That was pretty awesome. And I was like, yeah. And then that same day, like, there were some like graduation parties because my son graduated that year. And so we were hitting at the parties. And I remember like walking up the driveway, like all the dads. I don't know if they had it on the internet or whatever, but people knew about it. Like, yo, tell us the story. Screw the kids. We don't care.
Yeah, we don't. Who cares?
Tell us the story. You got yelled at by Aaron Rodgers.
I know he's hyper competitive, so I'm sure at the time.
That's the thing. Because I remember talking to Crabtree about it, and he's friends with Rodgers, and he was like, "Yeah, he's just got a weird sense of humor." And obviously competitive. Like it's a charity softball game, but like they don't know the situations. I wish I would have. If I could do it over again, one thing I would do is after like that play, like 3 plays later, like 7 minutes later, Rodgers looks at me and he says, "Are you umping or just hanging out?" That's what he said to me. Those words. And so I wish I would have just crossed my eyes at him and be like, bro, I'm just hanging out. I don't know what's going on. I thought I was going to the mall.
You should be like, I'm keeping an eye on third base and I'm keeping an eye on first base.
Yeah, I ain't got nothing to do with second base.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on these two. Second base isn't me.
Yeah, but I never took it because that's why I never told that story like back in the day. Because I never wanted people to like take it like, oh, Rodgers was a dick and he's this and that.
I think he's just
like
he's just messed
yeah,
up. Yeah,
he was competitive. And I don't think he was at home at night like sleeping like this son of a umpires really got to me.
If someone were to come up to you, a lot of young kids want to be as Hollywood as you when they grow up. If someone were to come up to you and say, what advice would you have for me to transcend into a social media icon like Matt Ramage? What's your advice to anyone who's wanting to do what you do?
I'd say aim higher, but I would say like anyone who wants to do it, like my advice would be to have fun, do what you do, and not worry about what people say. Because like people, like I've had close friends, like when I first started, like say, you're making a fool of yourself. You're embarrassing yourself. You're an idiot. I mean, I was working in my garage in my underwear at that time. So like they might have been onto something. No, but like when I think you just have fun and just keep going. Like if it's what you want, even like because like I've done like a podcast where like I felt so horrible. You're not even podcast, but live streams or a video or like things just don't go your way.
Yeah.
Like I'm just wasting my time or whatever. Like I think just keep going if it's what you want. If you want to be a podcast or live streamer, because especially like live streaming, you could be live streaming to yourself, and that sucks.
Yeah.
But like even like you talk like Tom Grassi, all right, who a lot of people know, legend on YouTube. Like up until 2020, he wasn't doing what he's doing now.
Yep.
And then he made that when Jordan Love got drafted, that video popped off. I mean, he was doing all right before then.
Yeah.
But he wasn't on that level. And that's what took him on that path. So you just got to do that one thing to get you on that path. But I think just have fun. Like if you're not having fun, then it's a job. So like just have fun. And if you're having fun, I think that comes across. Like when I do my game streams, like dude, that's why I'm like 3rd and 8, Jordan Love up in shotgun. Like I'm just yelling because like I'm just having fun or just being goofy. Like I'm not trying to be Wayne Larrivee. I'm not trying to like, And I feel like if you're having fun, people will have fun watching it. And if they don't, well, at least you had a good time.
We're gonna wrap up soon because it's past my bedtime. But I got some burning hot questions here for you.
All right, what do you got? What do you got, man?
These are gonna just be rapid fire questions.
Oh.
So you have a podcast, which you go live a lot. I don't know your exact schedule, but I think it's like Tuesdays, Mondays, like every
Tuesdays,
every football game.
Yeah.
So, but if you could interview any player, alive or dead, or coach, I'd say, but I'm going to exclude Vince Lombardi for obvious reasons. Who are you going to interview and why?
Paul Hornung.
Paul Hornung.
I got the Paul Hornung autograph helmet right behind you. I'm not a big autograph guy, but I do have that. It was a gift. Tom Grassi, shout out. But Paul Hornung's my favorite player in the history of the Packers, and I've never met him. I've never seen him play in person. I've only seen like limited highlights, but his story is so good. Like he was gonna quit. Like his story more than I do because my memory sucks and you read books. But like he was like when Vince Lombardi was coming, he was like, if this doesn't work out, I'm going to sell insurance, whatever he was gonna do. Like back then those guys were like, we don't need this.
Was, yeah.
And obviously it worked out. He ends up being one of the greatest players ever. But like his story of I've heard a lot of people that met him in his older days. Like he was a big drinker, which obviously I respect as an alcoholic myself. But like his story is just so fascinating, even though I'm not the most historian person, because I think I might have a touch of dementia, but my memory doesn't contain it. But like,
yeah.
So, but it's good every time you read about it or watch a video. It's like the first time you saw it. But his story is just so great. So I would like to interview him because then I would know more stuff about him.
Yeah, it's a solid. Well, and I think you'd click well. The crazy stories of partying.
Oh yeah.
Next one here. If you could watch any game again for the first time, having the same emotions or feelings that you did as the time you watched it, which game would you choose? And I'm going to exclude Super Bowls. Super Bowls are easy.
Super Bowls easy. Yeah, I wasn't gonna.
I know you said you got a smidge of dementia, so you might not remember.
Yeah, no. If I could go back and watch any game, it would be beating the Bears to go on to the Super Bowl, because I feel like I don't remember that game enough. I assume I was with my brother-in-law Matt and we got hammered.
Yeah, but I'm sure that put the nerves to bed.
But because I remember like when that happened, right? Because after that game, the Packers won. I was with my brother and I was like, I didn't know I remember this. This is coming up. But my wife was like, hey, we're going to the Super Bowl. And she ended up going because she was all like, we're going to the Super Bowl. But actually, she was going to the Super Bowl. But I remember that part of it. But like I think I would like to go back and watch that game, really enjoy it. I've watched it back over before because
it's different when you don't know when you know the
that
outcome.
Raji interception. I remember just celebrating and all that stuff. I remember just being so happy, like this is gonna happen. Like because like, dude, when you go to the Super Bowl, I know like Viking fans alive don't know about this. Bear fans, your dads, ask them, they'll tell you about it. Lion fans, I don't know what to tell you. But when you are at the point where like we're going
by
to
the
Super
by the
Bowl,
way, by the time this records, the Lions could have already won the
first
Super
of all,
Bowl.
they won't.
Okay.
They
well,
won't.
I'm
Lions
just
ain't
prefacing if you watch this.
If
by the
they
time,
do,
we are recording right after the wild card weekend.
Yeah. So if they do win the Super Bowl, I probably have already quit creating content because I just gave up on life. But yeah, that moment when you realize you're going to the Super Bowl, even though as a Packer fan, I've lived through it twice in my life. But even the first time, like
three times,
I might go back.
You've lived through it three times.
Oh yeah, but I don't count the other one.
Well, you're going to the Super Bowl. You just don't win the Super Bowl. There's a different feeling. There's going to the Super Bowl is one feeling. Winning the Super Bowl or your team winning the Super Bowl is another feeling.
Yeah, I think back then would be another one, but I'll stick with the Bears answer. But like
that's a good one.
Back then, I didn't appreciate it enough, even though we weren't good. Like I remember like the '80s and all that stuff. But like when I was a teenager, I was having fun. We were screwing around. We were partying.
Yeah, you don't take it
being
the same
a teenager. We watched the Packers all the time. Like we would stop and like I remember that year and like how it felt different, but I still didn't appreciate it like the way if I could go back in time. I'd have went to a few less parties. I probably still got hammered. I don't
know. who you kidding? My next one here is: what is your most controversial take as a Packers fan?
Most controversial.
Like, do you? And this is kind of a weird, open-ended question that there's a lot to it. But like,
yeah, I mean,
do you think above a certain age should be kicked out of Lambeau Field? Like, what's your controversial take here?
I think that my most controversial take might be that if your team plays in a dome in the Midwest, you are a soft, fake franchise because you don't care about football, right? Why do the Lions have a dome? So Eminem can do concerts there. It's the Eminem Hall. That if you live in the Midwest and you have a dome, it's not a football field. It's a concert arena that sometimes plays football in it. Like Lambeau Field is not a concert arena. They might do some stuff every now and again. They're like, yeah, we'll scoot some time across, we can make some money too. But it's a football field. Bills, you go to Buffalo, they don't have concerts every weekend.
That's
Dallas, they have more concerts in the Cowboys Stadium than they have football games. Like
I think that's a fun controversial take.
I don't know if it's controversial. I think it is because I get yelled at when I talk about it.
As a football fan, that's a controversial take for sure, and I appreciate.
If I was a billionaire owner with a stadium, I would definitely put a dome on that thing. Let's get get Taylor in here.
Let's get Taylor in here. All right, last one here for you. I know you like to have a cold beverage or two or 2 dozen. Who is a Packer that you think could actually outdrink you?
Tucker Kraft. Yeah, Tucker Kraft. Right now, that's the first thing that popped in my head.
I think we need to go live and just see how many pound for pound Matt Ramage, Tucker Kraft can just put away and just keep going. I think that needs to be a live show.
I think tight ends in general, Musgrave probably too. But Tucker Kraft, like I see his
well, dude, he's a Midwest boy. He's gonna
Yeah. I think
been drinking in cornfields. Yeah.
He had off-season videos and stuff, and just watching him play. Tucker Kraft, I think, is one of the most interesting players. Josh Jacobs too. I think Josh Jacobs is an absolute warrior. But Tucker Kraft seems like he's just all man, like all player, all like he doesn't care. He'll sacrifice his body. Like I don't. Like I fell on the steps and I call it sick 2 days in a row. Like he just the way he plays and just the way he is, I feel like he's putting beers down. Like David Bakhtiari type of fellas.
Yeah.
I feel like Tucker Kraft, you'll find out one day. Dude, he put down dirty 30s in a weekend on the off season.
Dude, Tucker's been drinking in a cornfield since he was like 13.
Yeah.
And growing up in the Midwest, you get drunk as a minor in a cornfield at some point in your life. And
Yeah, if you don't, like, or in the woods, like Baird's Creek in Green Bay.
Woods, yep. Woods or
Baird's
cornfield.
Creek. Dude, I remember one time, real quick story, I'll keep it real quick. We were drinking in Baird's Creek, and you had to climb up this whole thing, really hard to get up there, so like the cops couldn't bust you. And the cops did. They kind of came up, and then we all went running down through the woods, and we're carrying the barrel. We're running through the rig with the keg in our hands. And then one of the, people with cars had to stay because we had people actually who didn't drink around, and they stay with their cars. And they're like, "Aren't you going to chase them?" I remember they said the cop was like, "No." It's like 2 miles worth of woods here, and that beer is junk. They're running through the woods with it, and they're all hammered already. But yeah, those are good times. You know what I mean? I feel like that builds you up. But no, I think Tucker Kraft, he could probably put the beers. I think Musgrave too, though. Yeah. I think that's a tight end thing. I bet Kelsey. You think about all the tight ends in the league. Kittle. I feel like all of them, dude. They could put beers down.
Didn't Barstool, was that just tight ends that they did that? No, because I think Bakhtiari they had their beer competition thing that they do there, and I think Tucker represented pretty well, if I'm not mistaken. So
yeah, Bakhtiari's got a gift, right? There's certain guys that can just open up the throat hole and just put the beer down it, right?
Do you think you could take Bakhtiari?
I can't do that.
You think you can take Bakhtiari? Or, he's crushing.
No, not in the chugging. I feel like I could carry my own though. If we drink beer for beer all night long, I think we could. I'm not saying I would beat him because first of all, it has a lot to do with weight and I'm fat, but they're like strong. I don't know how that works. I'm not used to drinking with strong people. You know what I mean? But I feel like I could hold my own with Bakhtiari, Kraft, or any of those. I don't think I'm gonna get the invite anytime soon, but I think if I was in a situation, I feel like I could hold my own. I'd probably be the first one to puke, but I don't quit.
That is the one and only Matt Ramage. You can find Matt on any of the main social media platforms simply by searching Matt Ramage. Or if you go to his website, themattramage.com, you can find his socials in the footer of the website. A huge thank you to Matt for taking the time to come share his story. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. A huge thank you as well to Nicolay Law for sponsoring this podcast. If you want to come on the show and share your unique stories, check the comment below or the show notes for a link on how to apply to come on the show. And once again, my name is Ben. I hope to see you same time, same place next week. And until then, go Pack Go.